Some 420 participants from over 40 countries are descending on Stellenbosch this week for the 13th annual Global Women Work and Organisation Conference taking place here. It's being hosted by the Stellenbosch Business School. A short while ago, delivering the keynote address, Stellenbosch University Chancellor Justice Edwin Cameron was talking about a dream that is contained in South Africa's constitution, saying that in South Africa, with our constitution as well as a strong activism, the ideals of that constitution in terms of the rights for various sectors of society can be attained. And of course, joining me now is the chairperson, or rather the convener of the conference, Professor Anita Bosch. Prof, a very warm good day to you. So just now we heard from Justice Edwin Cameron talking a bit about the way our constitution actually protects rights, advances the rights of those of various sexual orientations, etc. And of course, this fits in to the theme of this year's conference, talking about marginalised gender identities. Talk to us a bit about why these some 400 researchers and academics have come together to discuss this over the next 3 days.
Well, the issue of marginalised gender identities is really a global issue, but in South Africa we're ideally placed because of our constitution. The fact that we've gone through so much marginalisation in our history, and now trying to say what can we do about this, and how can intellectual activists come together and actually speak the truth. Say what's going on, and also find ways to overcome and integrate.
Now, Prof, I mean, I've just looked through your program, mentioned it to you earlier on, for the next 3 days, some 90 pages, so real in-depth work. I understand some 300 papers, research papers, will be presented over the next 3 days. Talk to us a bit about some of the themes that will come under discussion here at this conference.
There's a number of themes, such as women's related themes, women, motherhood. There's issues around masculinity studies, queering activism, so the LGBTQ plus grouping, and various other intersections. So race features quite strongly. The intersections of religion. What does it mean to be a openly religious woman and then come to the workplace in that way? So lots of intersections and overlaps on marginal identities.
So, Prof, where does this intellectual activism find its roots? In other words, at the end of this 3-day conference, I mean, you know, you have the journal. How does it end up being put into practice, if one will? Judge Cameron was talking about the issue of Uganda, that bill being passed. So at the end of the day, how do we take what is discussed here, the work of the academics and intellectuals, and actually have it filtered down into society, into the workplace, to realize the goals of this conference?
The fabulous thing about Gender Work and Organisation as a journal, and the Stellenbosch Business School as being the host, is that this is what we teach. This is what a lot of these academics that come together, this is what we teach to managers, leaders of business, and then it starts filtering into the workplace. So whether people believe in some of these values morally or otherwise is not really the issue. It's about, especially in our country, the Constitution, and about treating people fairly and giving them an opportunity to bring their talents to the workplace. And we teach that. So people leave with another viewpoint that then starts informing their practice as leaders and business owners.
Prof. Anita Bosch, thank you so much for speaking to me. Of course, the research chair, Stellenbosch Business School, talking to us on the first day, the opening really of the Global Gender Work and Organisation conference taking place here in Stellenbosch. It's the first time it's being hosted in Africa and in Stellenbosch. And I've mentioned earlier on some 400 delegates attending this conference. Some important work will be discussed here in terms of marginalised identities and how to overcome that in the various workplaces globally.